Hello, everybody, and thanks for attending the webinar. Uh, it's 2 o'clock, so we might as well get started. 2 o'clock on the East Coast. Anyway, I thought I'd start off by just telling you a little bit about myself. My name is Brian Doherty. I've been in financial services for over 35 years now, and the last 13 of those years I've devoted exclusively to Social Security. Believe it or not, going around the country, speaking in just about every state to live audiences. That was up until the COVID hit, and then for 2.5 years, did a lot of webinars like this one. But now back to traveling again and doing meetings. So let me tell you real quick how I got here. My last stint in corporate America, from like 2006 to 2010. I traveled all over the country training financial advisors on retirement income planning. And that's when all the baby boomers were starting to retire, and retirement income planning, having a plan for your income in retirement became a big thing. There's all kinds of software programs. We had one. Anyway, I quickly realized that if you're doing any kind of retirement income planning, that you need to start with the Social Security claiming decision. And a lot of the retirement income plans were people that were about to retire. So they hadn't retired and claimed Social Security yet. But the plan required, one of the first pieces of information is to put in your Social Security income. So I quickly realized that if you change that Social Security income, like you increase it by 20, 30, 40, 50%, because if people delay, you can increase your benefit by that much. It can have a very dramatic positive impact on that income plan, especially if you have, accumulated assets and savings that can make them last a lot longer. So at the time, it was like 2007, 2008. I didn't know anything about Social Security. So I decided to educate myself. And from the moment I did, I was blown away. I had no idea Social Security allowed people to do the things it allows them to do, had all these great features to it. And I also realized that hardly anybody knew this stuff back then because nobody was talking about it. I'd go to all these big conferences and national meetings and all these outside speakers, and nobody was talking about it. So anyway, I decided to educate as many people as I could about what a great program this is, because it is a great program. So I decided to write a book. Now, I never written a book before. I thought it would take me like 6 months. It took me 5 years. And when the book came out in 2015, I didn't know if it was any good. I thought it was, but I'm biased because I wrote the book. Anyway, I was very, very pleasantly surprised that my book on Social Security, Getting Paid to Wait, ended up winning the International Book Award that year as the best business personal finance book that year. There were over 1,000 entries from 15 different countries, and my book beat them all, finished #1. And it also won the Eric Hoffer Award as one of the best business personal finance books that year. So it's a multiple award-winning book. I'm a multiple award-winning author, not even trying to sell you the book, because at the end, we'll send you an email how you get a free copy of my multiple award-winning book. And a lot of the stuff that I'm going to present today is in the book. Some of the stuff isn't, especially the stuff that applies directly to women. And Social Security really is a much bigger issue for women than it is for men. And you might say, well, why is that? Well, it's because women overwhelmingly outlive men. I'm going to give you some statistics on that I think will blow you away, but that's true. Women overwhelmingly outlive men. They receive Social Security benefits for a longer period of time because they live longer than men do. And it's a bigger issue for them for a number of different reasons. Now, why is it a bigger issue? Well, women still earn less than men, although they're catching up, but they still earn less than men, and that affects the size of your Social Security benefit. And women tend to be the ones that take more time out of the paid workforce, whether it's to take care of young children or take care of sick relatives or friends. Overwhelmingly, women are the one to do that, and they interrupt their work career. And as a result, they accumulate less savings, and Social Security makes up a higher percentage of their income in retirement. That's why it's a bigger issue for women, and also because they live longer than men do. Now, there's some good news. Like I briefly mentioned before, more women are participating in the labor force, and that continues to rise. Women will reach retirement with a substantial earnings history, which is also a good thing. and more good news when it comes to Social Security. Women receiving auxiliary benefits. That means they didn't have their own benefits. So they're receiving either a spousal benefit, which is based on their husband or ex-husband's benefit amount, or they're receiving a survivor benefit because either husband or ex-husband predeceased them and they switched to the husband's bigger benefit in the form of a survivor benefit. So women receiving these benefits, the percentage declined from 57% in 1960 to 23% in 2014. So that's a good thing. Less women are dependent upon their husband or their ex-husband for their Social Security benefit payment. Now, women receiving only retired workers benefit, that means they qualified for their own benefit, that increased from 38% in 1960 to 51% in 2014. That's because more women have joined the workforce and are qualified for their own Social Security benefit. And then duly entitled women, this means they have their own benefit and they're entitled to a spousal benefit. Increased from 5% in 1960 to 26% in 2014. That's more good news. Women are out there working, so they do qualify for their own benefit, and maybe they get a slightly higher spousal benefit as well. But in 2014, when I got these statistics, 49%, almost 50% of women still receive a Social Security benefit in the form of a spousal benefit or a survivor benefit that was based on the amount of their husband's benefit. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how the spousal benefit and the survivor benefit works. And it's very important, especially for the women on the call. The men on the call, this should also be important because if you're married or you have an ex-wife, you might want to tell them about this, because 90% of spousal benefits, and this is from the Social Security website, every month they send out millions of spousal benefits. 90% of them are sent to women. So you really need to know how that works and how to maximize the size of it. And the survivor benefit, 95% of survivor benefits, and they send out 3 to 5 million of those every month. 95% of those are sent to women. So these are two really important features about Social Security that women need to know about. So let's talk about this thing, life expectancy. This is a term that you've heard all your life. Maybe you think you know what it means, but I can almost guarantee you don't know the complete definition of life expectancy. So if we put men and women together in this country, they have a life expectancy of age 78. And I think that most people die by age 78. That's not it. Life expectancy is simply a statistical term. It's a mean average. And what it means is that 50% of people will die before age 78, but 50% of people are going to live up to and beyond age 78. So, and I do a lot of work with financial advisors and their clients and just people in general. I say if there's a 50% probability of you living up to and beyond age 78, then you should plan on that happening. But that's only one aspect to life expectancy. There's a second aspect to it that hardly anybody knows, and that's this. The longer you live, the farther out you push your life expectancy. So here I have a chart. These charts are all in my book. On the bottom horizontal axis here, I have ages from age 65 all the way up to age 105. On the vertical axis, I have the probability of living to those ages. So if a man lives to age 65, we're going to go up to the 50% probability. He pushes his life expectancy out to age 84. If a woman lives to age 65, she pushes her life expectancy out to age 86. And there's a 50% probability that at least one of them is going to live to be age 90. Now, for all the guys on the call, I got some really bad news for you. If anybody's going to live to be age 90, it ain't going to be you. It's going to be all the women on the call. Women overwhelmingly outlive men. It isn't even close. In fact, if you looked at the number of men and women alive at age 85, there are twice as many women alive at age 85 than there are men. There are 3 times as many women alive in their 90s than there are men. And if I take you back to the 2010 census, there were 53,000 people in this country age 100 or older. 44,000 of them were women. Women live longer than men. Social Security is a bigger issue for them because they live longer than us and receive their benefit payments for a longer period of time. Now, I'm not trying to convince anybody on this call that you're going to live to be age 90, 95, or 100. But what I am trying to convince you is that you have a high probability of living into your mid and even your late 80s, because most people underestimate their life expectancy by about 5 years. Most people think they're only going to live to be about age 80. If I can push that expectation out into the mid 80s, I think I put you in a better position to make a better Social Security claiming decision. Okay, women live longer than men. Why should women should consider taking advantage of these Social Security features? Now, this is something I talk to everybody about, but women especially should take advantage of these so they can increase their benefit, because they're probably going to receive that increased benefit for a longer period of time because they live longer than us men do. So the first one that you're probably aware of somewhat, and I've advised over 13 years, I consult with married couples, divorced spouses, widows, and single people. I've probably done over 2,000 of these meetings, and I'd say probably 70% of them were for married couples. But so when I go into the meeting, I think that a lot of the people are going to make uninformed decisions and might leave some money on the table in terms of lost benefits. Now, when I get done with some of this stuff, you might think that, hey, all Brian wants us to do is wait till age 70 to claim their benefits. No, that's not it. I'm just going to give you some really compelling reasons why you might want to delay claiming your benefit. You don't have to delay it all the way up to age 70, but you might want to delay claiming it a few years past age 62, because it really is an incredible deal. But when I get done, if you still decide to claim at age 62, that's fine. That's your decision, but it won't be an uninformed decision. Okay, so most people know that the later you delay claiming your benefits past 62, the bigger your benefit amount is going to be. But most of them don't know by exactly how much. Now, you're probably aware that you can claim your benefit as early as age 62. But if you do that, you're going to lock into the smallest monthly benefit every month for the rest of your life. Now, there's a bunch of math geniuses out there that crunch the numbers about what's the best age to claim your Social Security benefits. And they put out these white papers, these research papers. And a lot of those math geniuses will tell you that claiming at 62 may not be the best decision to make. Or you could claim as late as age 70 and lock into the biggest monthly benefit every month for the rest of your life. And those same math geniuses will tell you that might be a better decision to make. Or you can claim in any age in between 62 and 70. But here's the bottom line. For every year you delay claiming after age 62, your benefit is guaranteed to increase by 6 to 8% per year up until age 70. Now, I call that a risk-free guaranteed rate of return. In this still very low interest rate environment, where are you going to find a risk-free guaranteed rate of return of 6 to 8% per year? Nowhere that I know of. I tell everybody that I talk to, this is one of the best deals around. And you know what? It gets even better, because Social Security has this great inflation hedge called COLA, the cost of living adjustment feature. And whatever that COLA percentage is, if inflation increases by a certain percentage, you're going to receive that increase in the amount of your benefits, even if you delay claiming your benefit past age 62. Let me give you a quick example of how this would work. Let's say you have a full retirement age of 67, okay? And well, I'll take you back to the end of 2021, and he just turned 62. All right. So, and for whatever reason, you decide that you don't want to claim your benefit. Let's say you're still working, you're going to delay for at least one more year from age 62 to age 63. Well, just by delaying that 1 year, you got a minimum guaranteed increase in your benefit of 7.14% minimum. But the COLA increase in 2022 was 5.9%. So you add that to the 7.14, and your total increase for that year was 13.04%. Just by delaying 1 year, you increase your benefit by a little over 13%, and you locked into that increased benefit for the rest of your life. Now, let's say you get to age 63, decide to work another year, you don't need your Social Security, you're going to delay 1 more year from age 63 to age 64. Well, just by doing that, you got another 6.67% minimum guaranteed increase in your benefit. And the COLA increase this year is 8.7%. Biggest COLA increase in 40 years, because as you know, you can't watch a news program or pick up a newspaper, talk about the economy, and read about what's happening to prices of groceries and gasoline and rents and home prices. They're going up. So the COLA increase for 2023 was 8.7%. You add that to the minimum guaranteed increase of 6.67%, and that's another 15.3% increase in your benefit just by delaying that additional year. So just by delaying 2 years from age 62 to age 64, okay, you got a 13.4% increase by delaying to age 63. You got a 15.36% increase by delaying to 64. Add those together, that's a 28.4% increase in your benefit just by delaying 2 years, and you locked into that increased benefit for the rest of your life. Now, this scenario will continue if you delay to 65, 66, 67. You'll get those minimum guaranteed increases and any COLA increases on top of it. It really is an incredible deal. And some people say to me, well, Brian, I can't wait till age 70. I say, look, that's fine. But if you can delay for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, your benefit is going to be so much bigger because of the 6 to 8% minimum guaranteed increase and any COLA increases on top of it. It's a great deal. And just to show you, if they claimed at 62, their benefit would have been $1,750. If they wait to age 64, their benefit was increased to $2,329. It's a great deal. All right, now I'm going to show you how to get the biggest pay raise every year for the rest of your life. So when you were working, or maybe you're still working, every year you probably got some kind of pay raise. And I would assume that you wanted that pay raise to be as big as possible. I don't think anybody would go to their boss and say, you know what, I want to get the smallest pay raise possible. Nobody would do that. But you know what? Too many people do that when it comes to Social Security. They lock into the smallest pay raise possible. I'm going to show you how to do the exact opposite, lock into the biggest pay raise possible. And it all comes back to this cost of living adjustment feature, this COLA, the best inflation hedge around. Okay. Now, if you were to purchase this, if you buy some kind of income investment product, they do have, inflation options, riders that you can purchase so that your income will go up by a certain percentage every year. Well, it turns out they're pretty expensive and hardly anybody opts to get them. And I was in that business, but when I did my research and found out this cost of living adjustment feature, the best inflation hedge around, Social Security, our government gives it to everybody for free. I call it one of our government's greatest gifts because it really is. And for most people, it's going to be the only pay raise they get in retirement. And if it's the only pay raise, you want it to be as big as possible. A lot of people, too many people, get the smallest pay raise. Let me show you how to change that. And to do that, we're just going to look at this chart. These are monthly benefit amounts, okay? And we're going to contrast, if this person claims at age 62, they go to their Social Security benefit statement. Now in their statement, it says, well, if you claim at age 62, we're going to pay you $1,875 a month. Now, if that same person were to wait till age 70 to claim, they go to their benefit statement. It says, well, if you claim at age 70, we're going to increase your benefit to $3,300 a month, okay? Now, the difference between these two amounts starts off at $1,425 a month. They make $1,425 more a month if they claimed at age 70 as opposed to claiming at age 62. Now, at this column, we're going to take you out 20 years into the future, and I assumed an annual COLA increase of 3%. Why did I use 3%? Because that's the 75-year average for inflation, 3%. Okay. So this 1875, 20 years later, with an annual COLA increase of 3%, grows to $3,386 a month. This $3,300 a month, 20 years later, with an annual COLA increase of 3%, grows to $5,959 a month. And now the monthly difference has grown to $2,573 a month. Look, if everybody gets the same COLA percentage increase, it doesn't matter when you claim your benefits. But here's a concept. It's a simple one, but it's very powerful. If you apply that same COLA percentage increase to a bigger benefit, it results in bigger dollar increases every year for the rest of your life. If I were to take this column out 25 or 30 years, the difference between those two amounts would grow bigger and bigger. You apply the same percentage to a bigger benefit, you get the biggest pay raises, the biggest dollar increases every year for the rest of your life. So how do you get the biggest pay raise every year for the rest of your life? You delay claiming your benefit as long as possible, ideally till age 70. So you're applying that COLA percentage to the biggest benefit possible, results in the biggest pay raises every year. If you want to get the smallest pay raise every year for the rest of your life, you apply that COLA percentage to the smallest benefit. If you claim it at age 62, and you're going to get the smallest pay raise every year for the rest of your life. Okay. Now, the next slide I'm about to show you, I think is going to be worth you taking the time to attend this webinar. Now, I've been showing this slide. I've been showing a lot of my slides to, people for the last 13 years. I probably showed them to over 80,000 people, mostly in live audiences, but I've done a lot of webinars. And, when I used to do, now I'm starting to do them again, but go to these big meetings and there's 300, 400, 500, 600 people in the audience. Some of them knew a lot about Social Security. They did their own research. They were pretty knowledgeable about it, but they always made a point to come up to me afterwards and say, Brian, where'd you get this stuff? Are you sure this is the way it works? Because, I've done my research. I've been to other seminars by Social Security experts, and nobody talks about what you talk about. Why don't they? Because it's really amazing. I say to them, I don't know, but now go tell everybody you know, because everybody should know this. So when I was getting ready to have my book published, I had some really smart math people check the math in the book. I got charts like this, and, there's numbers involved. I wanted to make sure they were all correct. Well, a couple of them came back and said, Brian, we understand your concept about applying that same COLA percentage to the bigger benefit results in bigger dollar increases. I said, yeah. They said, yeah, but you have a major, major flaw in your analysis. I said, I do. What is it? They said, they took me back to this chart. They said, look, if you have this person claiming at age 62, now you take them out 20 years later. If you add 20 years to age 62, it brings you to age 82. Now, Brian, you have this person claiming at age 70. You also take them out 20 years later. And if you add 20 years to age 70, it brings you to age 90. Brian, you're not comparing apples to apples. And if you did, you'd have to look at what this amount, 5959, would be at age 82, not age 90. It's going to be a lot smaller than this. The difference is going to be a lot smaller. And you're going to make the case even stronger for claiming early. Now, on the face of it, seems like a really valid point, right? But it's not a valid point because of the incredible way that Social Security credits COLA if you delay claiming your benefits. In fact, when I first read about this on the Social Security website, and it's on the Social Security website, you got to look really hard for it because it's a massive website. But when I first read about this, I said, hey, wait a minute, I can't be reading this correctly. Nobody could do this. So I reread this section 5, 6, 7 times. I finally realized that I am reading it correctly, and I also realized that only the federal government can do what I'm about to show you. Nobody else could do this and stay in business that long. So, over the years, I've done a number of short videos, 3 to 5 minutes on different Social Security topics, throw them up on YouTube. They get 10, 12,000 views, big deal. But I did one about 3.5 years ago that was my most watched video by a factor of 25. 25 times more people watched it than any other one I did. And the name of it was Your Social Security Benefit Statements Are Wrong. Actually, the name of it still is Your Social Security Benefit Statements Are Wrong, because you can go on YouTube and watch it. And your actual benefit amounts are going to be substantially bigger than the benefit amounts that appear in your statement. So your statements are wrong in a good way, because your benefits are going to be much bigger. Let me show you how this works. And why it works this way is what I call retroactive COLA credits. This is pretty incredible. So what I'm going to do is, I got 2 charts here. I'm going to say this is your Social Security benefit statement. I'm going to go back to your old benefit statements where they only showed you 3 benefit amounts. It's just easier to illustrate how this works. So everything played off of your full retirement age. I'm going to assume this person had a full retirement age of 66. So on their benefit statement, it says, well, if you wait till age 66, we, Social Security, are going to pay you $2,500 a month. Now, the second benefit amount, it would show you if you claim as early as possible at age 62, they say, well, if you claim at age 62, then we're going to decrease your monthly benefit to $1,875 a month. Third benefit amount, it'll show you if you wait till age 70, it says, well, if you wait till age 70, we're going to increase your benefit to $3,300 a month. Now I'm going to take you down here to this chart. Column A are the claimant ages between 62 and 70. With column B, I show you what happens if this person does claim at age 62. They start off at $1,875 a month, and it goes up a little bit every year because of the annual COLA increase. Now, check this out. If this person actually claims at age 66, they don't get $2,500 a month. They get $2,813 a month. Why? Because if they claim at age 66, Social Security is going to take this $2,500. They're going to go back in time to when they were age 62, 4 years prior. They're going to see what the annual COLA percentage increase was for that year when they were 62. They're going to take that percentage and they're going to apply it to the $2,500. Then they're going to take that new bigger benefit. They're going to go back in time again to when this person was age 63. They're going to see what the annual COLA percentage increase was for that year when they were 63. They're going to apply that to that new bigger benefit. So if they're going to do that for 4 years in a row. So if they wait till age 66 and claim at age 66, they're not going to get $2,500 a month. They're going to get $2,813 a month. Why? Because they end up getting 4 years of what I call retroactive COLA credits. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the story gets even better. It gets a lot better if they wait until age 70. They're not going to get $3,300 a month. They're going to get $4,180 a month. Why? Because they end up getting 8 years of retroactive COLA credits. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that's incredible. And nobody knows that it works like this. Well, I can't say nobody anymore because I've showed it to 80,000 people and I've showed it to you today. So now you know. But that's pretty incredible. Your benefit amounts are going to be bigger than the amounts that appear in your statement because of retroactive COLA credits. And remember this chart here when they said, well, here, Brian, this benefit is at age 90. No, it isn't. This is actually their benefit amount that's $59.59 at age 82. Why? Because they went back and got 8 years of retroactive COLA credits. Anyway, nobody knows this. And the only way you benefit from retroactive COLA credits if you delay claiming your benefit past age 62. You don't benefit from retroactive COLA credits if you claim at 62. You don't benefit at all. It's only if you delay past age 62. So the benefit amounts on your statement are going to be too low. Your actual benefits are going to be a lot higher when you go to claim them. Pretty incredible. Now, let me talk about the spousal benefit a little bit, because again, 90% of spousal benefit payments are sent to women. For women on the call today, you might be the recipient of a spousal benefit or will be in the future. You should know how it works. One spouse is entitled to receive a benefit equal to 50% of the other spouse's full retirement age work history benefit. Now, the only way you to receive a spousal benefit, if 50% of, let's say, your husband's full retirement age benefit is greater than your own benefit, okay? Then you can step up to a spousal benefit. You get 50% if you wait till your full retirement age to claim it. But if you claim it prior to your full retirement age, the spousal benefit is going to be reduced to less than 50%. And they have a monthly reduction formula to determine the amount of the spousal benefit. So the farther away you are from your full retirement age, the bigger the reduction. So if you claimed at 62, that would be the maximum reduction. If you claim at 64, it would be less of a reduction. 65 or 66, it would be even less. The closer you get to your full retirement age, the less the reduction. And if you wait to your full retirement age, you get the full 50%. So again, 90% of spousal benefit checks are sent to women. Let me show you how this works real quick. This is a simple example. It gets a little more complicated than this. And last week I did a whole webinar on the spousal benefit. I think we have a video of that. You should go back and watch it because I go through all the different scenarios. But here's a simple one in terms of how it works. So I have Bob's full retirement age benefit. He's going to get $2,000. So let's say his full retirement age is 66. Mary's the same age as Bob. She didn't work that much. Her full retirement age benefit is only $500. Let's say both Bob and Mary decide to work until age 66, retire and claim their benefits. Bob retires, claims his $2,000. Now, we haven't adjusted this for inflation or retroactive COLA credits. So he gets his $2,000. Mary retires and claims, and she gets $1,000. Why does she get $1,000? Because she's entitled to receive a spousal benefit, which is equal to 50% of Bob's full retirement age benefit, or $2,000. So she gets $1,000 because she's qualified to receive the spousal benefit. And as a result, she doubled her Social Security income. Without the spousal benefit, she would have only gotten $500 a month. But because she could claim a spousal benefit, she doubled her monthly income to $1,000. That's pretty cool. Now, I want to show you something that hardly anybody knows, and this is a really cool feature of Social Security. So it's the same scenario. They're the same age, but Bob says, hey, Brian, I ain't waiting until 66. You know what? I've been working for 40 years. I've paid my FICA taxes, those Social Security taxes. I've contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not taking the chance of delayed 66, and I die at age 64. So I'm claiming my benefit early at 62. I know it's going to be reduced, but I don't care. So that's what he does. He claims at 62, and his benefit is reduced from $2,000 a month to only $1,500 a month. But Mary says, you know what? I kind of like my job. I'm still going to work to 66. I'm going to retire and claim my Social Security. And she does. And Mary still gets $1,000 a month. You would think that because Bob claimed his benefit early and it's reduced to $1,500 a month, and 50% of that would be $750 a month. And that would be the amount of the spousal benefit that Mary would get. But that's not the case. It doesn't matter that Bob claimed his benefit early and it was reduced. Mary still, if she waits to her full retirement age, she still gets 50% of his full retirement age benefit of $2,000 or $1,000 a month. And she still doubled her Social Security income. That's pretty cool. Hardly anybody knows that. And divorced spouses can claim a spousal benefit as well, but you have to be qualified. You have to have been married for at least 10 years or more before the divorce, and you can never remarry. I did the webinar I did last week talking about the spousal benefit. And by the way, if you have questions during the webinar, you can type them into the chat box and I'll answer them at the end. But there was a woman on the webinar, and it wasn't more of a question, it was more of a statement. She said that she was married for 9.5 years before her divorce. She went in and wanted to get the spousal benefit, but Social Security said no, because you didn't have 10 years. You weren't married for 10 years before your divorce. And she was really upset. She said, 9.5 years, they should still give it to me. No, if you're not married for at least 10 years, if you're married for 9 years and 11 months, you're still not going to get the spousal benefit if you get a divorce. So just be aware of that. And you can never remarry. Even if when you claim the spousal benefit, you weren't remarried, and then 2 or 3 years later, you do get remarried and you were getting a spousal benefit from your ex-spouse, they'll stop paying that to you. Now you get remarried and you could, after a year, claim a spousal benefit on your new husband. Okay. So now let me talk about survivor benefits. And this is also very important for married women and divorced spouses. And again, I think Social Security sends out 3 to 5 million survivor benefit checks every month, and 95% of them are sent to women. So at some point in the life of a married woman or a divorced woman, the survivor benefit could end up playing a very important role in you maintaining your quality of life and standard of living after your husband or ex-husband dies. So survivor benefit, like I said, I've done probably over 2,000 consultations with married couples, divorces, widows, and single people, and probably 75% of them were with married couples. And I ask them, this is a tough question to ask, especially when you're retired. Nobody wants to think about this, but what happens after one of us dies, or what happens from a Social Security standpoint? Well, let's take a look. I tell married couples, whoever has the bigger benefit, that's the more important benefit of the two. And at the very least, that's the one you want to try to delay claiming for as long as possible for 2 reasons. 1, you can both enjoy that bigger benefit while you're both alive. And 2, that benefit is eventually going to become the survivor benefit, or the only benefit the surviving spouse is going to receive after the first spouse dies. And keep in mind, overwhelmingly, the surviving spouse is the woman. So I'm going to give you an example here, a quick example, then I'm going to give you a more detailed one. Here we have a wife, let's say the wife and the husband are the same age. Her full retirement age benefit is $1,900 a month, and the husband's full retirement age benefit is $2,500 a month. Now, ladies, don't get mad at me because I made the husband's benefit bigger, because some women do. They give me a hard time about that. But I made the husband's benefit bigger because 75% of the time today, the husband has the bigger benefit. Statistically, that's just the way it is. That's why I made the husband's benefit bigger. So let's say they have a full retirement age of 66. They both claim their benefits at 66. The wife gets $1,900 a month. The husband gets $2,500 a month. Now, husbands overwhelmingly predecease their wives. Let's say that happens. The husband dies first. He was receiving the bigger benefit, the $2,500. The wife is still alive, but she's receiving the smaller benefit of $1,900. She doesn't have to continue to receive that smaller benefit. She can switch to the husband's bigger benefit and get the $2,500 every month for the rest of her life. But her $1,900 benefit stops. Okay, so that's the case if they both wait to their full retirement age. Now, unfortunately, what happens too many times, the husband has the bigger benefit. He claims it at age 62. That $2,500 is reduced to about $1,800 or $1,900. And when he dies, he leaves his wife with the smallest survivor benefit possible. And too many times, and there's all kinds of research backing this up, widowed women over the age of 65 struggle financially after the husbands die. And one of the biggest reasons that happens is he had the bigger benefit, but he claimed it at age 62. He died first, and he left his wife with one of the smallest survivor benefits possible. So let me give you a quick, now a little bit more detailed example of how this works. I'm going to explain this chart. I know there's a lot of numbers here. So here on the left, I've got the husband's claiming ages, either 62, 66, or 70. Now, the wife's benefit here, you notice her wife's monthly check at age 82, it's the same, $2,573 a month, irregardless of when the husband claimed his benefit. Why is that? Well, in this case, I had the wife claim her benefit at age 62. Now, why would I do that? I just gave you all these great reasons why the people should delay claiming, retroactive COLA credits, the 6 to 8%. Why would I have the wife claim her benefit at age 62? Well, there's some research out there, and to me, it makes a lot of sense that whoever has the smaller benefit should probably claim it early, even as early as age 62. Why? Because that's the benefit you're going to receive for the shortest period of time. Because once the first spouse dies, that smaller benefit stops, all right? So if you delay it, you're going to decrease the amount of time you receive that benefit even further. So claim it early, even as early as age 62. So that's what I did. And 20 years later, with a little bit of inflation and annual COLA increases, the wife's benefit grew to $2,573 at age 82. Now, if the husband also claimed at age 62, 20 years later, his benefit grew to $3,386 a month. If we add these two monthly benefits together, it totals $5,959 a month. If you were to annualize that, multiply that by 12, that's about $72,000 a year. That's pretty good. But check this out. We assume the husband dies at age 82. This benefit, the wife's smaller benefit, stops. Now her monthly benefit is decreased to $3,725 a month, and that's going to pay her $44,700 for the year. Now, when the husband was alive, they were receiving about $72,000. He dies, and wife's Social Security income now drops to $44,700. That's a drop of almost $30,000 a year. That's significant. Now, if the husband had waited till age 66, his one survivor benefit check, $4,515, would have paid the wife $54,180. That's better. But best yet, if the husband had waited till age 70, the one survivor benefit check, $59.59, would have paid the wife on an annual basis $71,508. Look, it's a lot easier to live on this than the $44,700 or the $54,000. Now, I want to show you one more thing that you've probably never seen before about the survivor benefit. So all I did was I took that last chart and I just eliminated the age 66 line. So all we're going to do is we're going to compare both the husband and wife claim at age 62 to if only the husband, because he had the bigger benefit, only the husband waited till age 70 to claim. So at age 62, 20 years later, the husband's benefit grew to $33.86. Again, the wife's is $25.73. Their combined total, their two checks, the combined total of the two checks is $5,959 a month. Now, if just the husband had waited to claim until age 70, the one survivor benefit check, $59.59, is as big as these two checks combined had the husband and wife both claimed at age 62. It's as big as two checks in one, greatly reducing the probability that their surviving spouse, which is usually the wife, is going to struggle financially after the first spouse dies. I do a lot of client seminars. I do a lot of seminars and free seminars at public libraries. And there's a lot of married couples there. And I can't tell you how many times married couples come up to me and they say, Brian, you're right. We weren't even going to think about the survivor benefit, before we came here. And now that we're here, you got us thinking, husband usually has a bigger benefit. We're going to see if he can delay it, at least for a few years to make that survivor benefit bigger. That's how it works. Every woman should know this. All right. Now, one thing about the survivor benefit for divorced spouses is that divorced spouses, with the spousal benefit, now that spousal benefit's only 50% of your ex-husband's benefit amount. But if your ex-husband predeceases you, and you were married for 10 years before the divorce, if he predeceases you, you can switch to his full benefit at the time of his death. And for a survivor benefit, you can remarry, but you have to wait until you're at least 60 years old or older to remarry. And if you do that, if you're 61, 62, you get remarried and your ex-spouse predeceases you and his benefit is bigger than yours, you can switch to his bigger benefit, even though you've been remarried. So there's a caveat there. Every divorced woman should know that as well. Okay. I'm going to show you real quick the survivor benefit. I have this for a divorced spouse, but it can be for a married couple as well. So, again, Mary was married for at least 10 years before divorce and she hasn't remarried. Because here we're having her claim her own benefit's only $500, but, because she met those qualifications, when her ex-spouse claims, she claims a spousal benefit of $1,000, 50% of this $2,000. So she doubled her income. And then a few years later, her ex-spouse dies at age 72. And then Mary can switch to the survivor benefit, the full amount, the $2,000. And guess what? She doubled her income again. So you need to remember that. Look, I've dealt with some divorced women that didn't realize that they could switch to the survivor benefit and their husband died 3 or 4 years ago. And they missed out on all those benefit payments. So you need to know that, kind of keep tabs on your ex-husband. And if he predeceases you, and you weren't remarried or you remarried after age 60, you can switch to his full benefit at the time of his death. Widows and widowers, I'm not going to show you how this works, but I just want you to know that you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to claiming your benefits. So, so let's say your husband died in his 50s. He's got a decent survivor benefit and you haven't claimed yet. So what you can do now, you can claim a survivor benefit as early as age 60. Okay. But it's going to be reduced. You're only going to get 71.5% of the full amount. But a lot of times it makes sense to do it. You can claim your survivor benefit at age 60, restrict your benefit to only the survivor benefit, and let your own benefit continue to grow by that 6 to 8% per year, and any COLA increases on top of it, right? And then you can switch to your maxed out benefit at age 70. Actually, you can make that switch at any time. If you're receiving that survivor benefit, you can make the switch to your own benefit anytime in between age 62 and 70. So if you do wait till age 70 to make this switch, then you're going to receive all those survivor benefit payments for 10 years. If you claimed at 60, all the way up to age 70. I've done this for widows where those survivor benefit payments, while they're waiting to claim their maxed out benefit, total hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it makes it easy to delay and, claim your maxed out benefit at age 70 and receive that for the rest of your life. Or in the other case, if the survivor benefit is always going to be bigger than your benefit, then you can claim your own work history benefit first, say at age 62, and then you switch to the survivor benefit at your full retirement age. Now, why at your full retirement age? Why don't you wait till age 70? Well, because the survivor benefit does not get any bigger after age 70. Your own benefit does not get any bigger after your full retirement age. Let's say you have a full retirement age of 67. Your survivor benefit is maxed out at age 67. It doesn't continue to grow after that, whereas your own benefit will. So with a survivor benefit, you shouldn't wait any longer than age 67 to claim it. So in this case, you can claim your own benefit at 62. It will be reduced, but you receive those benefit payments, say for the next 5 years. If your full retirement age is 67, then you switch to the full survivor benefit and receive that for the rest of your life. Now, a lot of widows and widowers don't know that they can do this. and don't know how to do it. Okay. And at the end, I'm going to share with you a way to make sure that, you can find out what all your options are. All right, real quick, we're coming down to the end. I get this question all the time. Hey, Brian, how does Social Security determine how big my benefit is going to be? A lot of misperceptions about this. People think, it's based on your last 5 years, or your largest 3 out of the last 5 years. Doesn't work like that. Social Security has a formula that uses your highest 35 wage earning years, your highest 35 wage earning years. And if you don't have 35 wage earning years, Social Security uses 0 for the number of years short of 35. Let me give you a quick example. Well, let's go down here. Women are more likely to interrupt their careers to take care of children or relatives, right? They leave the workforce. So they have some women, I'm not saying it's everybody on this call, but if anybody's going to leave the workforce to take care of young kids or take care of sick relatives, it's going to be the wife or the woman. And so she interrupts her working career. Let's say she gets to 62 and she only has 25 years of work history. Okay. So Social Security is going to use those 25 years of your work history, but they're also going to include 10 years of zeros to get that number up to 35 years, right? 10 years of zeros in their calculation. And those 10 years of zeros are going to significantly decrease your benefit. And like I said, women are more likely to have 0 earning years in their benefit formula. So if you decide to work longer, you're 62 and you've got 10 years of zeros. If you work till your full retirement age, let's say 67, so you're gonna have 5 years of additional earnings, and that will eliminate 5 years of zeros. So at age 67, you'll have 30 years of work history and only 5 years of zeros. And if you work longer than that, you're going to replace those 0 years with actual earnings history, and that can significantly increase your benefit. You need to be aware of that. Real quick, I'm going to go through this silent crisis. Hardly anybody knows about this, but too many married women struggle financially after their husbands die. All right. And again, keep in mind that women live longer than men. Husbands overwhelmingly predecease their wives. In 86% of all marriages, the husband is the same age or older than the wife. That's important. In 53% of the marriages, the husband is at least 2 to 3 years older than the wife. And in 1/3 of the marriage, the husband is at least 4 to 5 years older than the wife. Now, if you're the same age, the probability is still very high that your husband will predecease you. But if your husband is 2 or 3 or 4 years older than you, the probability is so much higher that he's going to predecease you. And that's where the survivor benefit comes into play. Most husbands are older than their wives, and it makes the odds even higher that he will die first. Okay, now here's a statistic, and I'm not saying that anybody here is going to live in poverty after their husband dies, but it just shows you what happens after husbands die, how many women struggle financially. Now, only 5% of married women age 65 or older live in poverty, only 5%, but 15% of widow women age 65 or older live in poverty. Why the big jump? When the husband's still alive, only 5% of married women live in poverty, but when the husband dies, that jumps by 300% after he dies. Why? Well, generally the husband had the bigger benefit. Okay. And when the husband's alive, you both receive 2 benefits. Even if you claim it's 62, life is still, pretty good. They can make ends meet. But when the husband dies, he had the bigger benefit. And if he claimed at 62, he leaves his wife with the smallest survivor benefit possible. And then she ends up struggling financially. Not saying you live in poverty. Some women do, but the number of women who struggle financially increases substantially. So I talk about the most important decision in a woman's lifetime. She doesn't make that decision, her husband does. And if the husband makes a poor decision, if he claims his benefits too early, it is usually the wife that suffers the consequences, because I know I sound like a broken record with this. Overwhelmingly, husbands predecease their wives, and the wife is left with only the survivor benefit. And if the husband claimed it at 62, a lot of times it may not be big enough and she struggles financially. That's the silent crisis in this country. So married women, divorced spouses, if you're still getting along with your ex-spouse, let them know that their decision about when they claim is really important. It's important to you because chances are you're going to be receiving that spousal benefit, or excuse me, that survivor benefit. Like I said, 75% of the time, the husband has the bigger benefit, which eventually become the survivor benefit. Too many times he claims it early, and he ends up leaving his surviving wife with the smallest survivor benefit possible, and she struggles financially. Just be aware that, the survivor benefit is something, it's a really important consideration. And just remember, 95% of all survivor benefit checks are sent to women. That's an incredible stat. I got that right off of the Social Security website. Women should maximize the size of the survivor benefit. That may mean telling your husband to delay claiming his benefit as long as possible. At some point, the only Social Security check you're going to receive is going to be that survivor benefit. All right, this is just the chart of the survivor benefit. I used this before. Not going to go through it again. Women live longer than men and receive their benefits longer than men. Women should take advantage of these features of Social Security, because you live longer than men. If you increase your benefit by delaying, or your husband's benefit by delaying, past age 62, that's 6 to 8% for every year you delay claiming it up to age 70. And keep in mind, your life expectancy then is age 86. And the older you get, the farther out you push it. You live to 70, 75. Now your life expectancy is 88, 89. You also take advantage of the annual COLA percentage. You apply that to a bigger benefit and get bigger dollar increases every year for the rest of your life. And if you're going to live a long time in retirement, that's very important. Take advantage of the incredible retroactive COLA credits to increase your benefit even more. And the only way you can take advantage of retroactive COLA credits is by delaying your benefit past age 62. Consider working longer, especially if it will replace zero earning years. If you have a very small benefit and you're going to receive a spousal benefit, this might not make a lot of sense, because chances are you still end up receiving a spousal benefit and get 50% of your husband's. But if you have a decent benefit amount, and you only have 25 years of earnings history, 20 years or 30 years, you might want to consider working a few more years to replace those 0 years that Social Security uses to calculate your benefit. Married and divorced women should be aware of how the spousal benefit works and the survivor benefit works. 90% of spousal benefits are sent to women. 95% of survivor benefits are sent to women. Women need to be aware of all their claiming options. I showed you. You have the option of claiming a smaller benefit first and switching to a bigger benefit later. And single women should just consider working longer and delaying their Social Security as long as possible. Hey, we're going to send you an email. So where can you go to make sure you get, every dime of benefit you're entitled to and you're aware of all your claiming options? There's very few places you can go. You can't even go to Social Security itself. I got a whole presentation on Social Security customer service employees give out incorrect and wrong information all the time. And it ends up costing people tens of thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost benefits over their retirement lifetime. Unfortunately, you can't trust them to give you accurate and complete information. So we've got this package. We call it Claim with Confidence. We're going to offer you this incredible deal. One of the things it's built around is my Claim with Confidence Social Security benefit calculator. It's really simple to use, few pieces of information. It spits out a nice PDF with a couple of potential claiming strategies. And if you're qualified to receive the spousal benefit, it'll automatically make that determination and show you how to maximize it. It'll, and also show you how to maximize the size of the survivor benefit. If you're married, or even if you're a divorced spouse, it'll also include automatically like the retroactive COLA credits, so you can see how your benefit is going to grow the farther you delay, and you can compare that to the benefit amount on your statement. It'll show you how to get the biggest pay raises every year for the rest of your life. It'll do all that. It'll automatically include that 6 to 8% increase plus the COLA increases on top of it. It'll do all of that for you and make sure that, again, you get every dime of benefit you're entitled to. We also include a Social Security guide. I get asked all the time, Brian, well, how do I claim my benefits? What are the nuts and bolts? Like, you can claim online, you can claim on the telephone, or you can go to the local Social Security office. We outline each one of those, the process you have to go through and the documentation you're going to need to do it, that whole process. That's our Social Security guide. We also have a Medicare guide. We can ask a lot of questions about Medicare. We hit some of the high points, give you a pretty good overview of Medicare and what's important. Also some instructional videos, the 4 things everybody should know before they claim. And then if you're married, we send you a video married couple should know. If you're divorced, what divorced spouses should know, widows and widowers and single people. And then we're also going to give you a copy of a video of me making a live presentation, same presentation I've given for 13 years. A lot of people tell me it's the best Social Security presentation they've ever seen. So you're going to have a link for that. Use that coupon code. We're going to give it to you at a credible price of only $39.99. And I'm so confident that you will think this is a value that if for whatever reason you don't think so, I'm going to give you a 90-day money back guarantee. If within 90 days you don't think it's worth the $39 or $40 that you spent for it, just let us know and we'll send back your $39.99, no questions asked. Okay, I don't see I don't see anybody in the any questions in the chat. If you want, I mean, you could unmute yourself if you want to ask me a question. Now you can do that, and I'd be happy to answer it. Otherwise, I think that's it, and I thank everybody for tuning in. Check out that Claim with Confidence package, and good luck with your Social Security claiming decision. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.